Thank you so much. And hi, everybody. Welcome this evening. My name is Holly Kirkpatrick, and I'm the Assistant Vice President for Financial Aid here at Arcadia. And I'm here with my colleague, Dennis Darvis. Dennis, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, welcome everybody. My name is Dennis Darvis. I'm the director of our one-stop shop and night card services.
We're really excited to have you joining our session today. And if you have questions, I encourage you to use that link that Lucia is going to be putting in the chat. Remember that this session is being recorded and it's live, so you don't want to ask anything that is too personal or that would involve us having to look up your student account. There will be ways that you can contact us offline later if you have some burning questions, but hopefully this will help answer some of them today. So just a little bit about the Financial Aid Office. When campus is open, you can find us in Kistler Hall, room 5. And you can reach us over email at finaid@arcadia.edu. Although you are able to call us and get a return call, I do think it's easier and quicker to reach somebody by shooting us an email first and arranging for a time to talk. We also have an online financial aid portal that students can view 24/7 to see their financial aid information, documents required, and documents received, accept and decline their aid. And just a note, we are open year-round from 8:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. So even when students aren't on campus, we are there behind the scenes as long as campus is open. So tonight I'm just going to highlight a few things about financial aid that I think are important for you to know at this point in the process. So just to review our financial aid application process. Everybody joining us this evening and who might be watching this video later is approaching and has come into this process with different background knowledge, and there are different stages. So we're going to start from the very beginning. Just a reminder that students do have to apply for financial aid each year. I was a first-generation college student myself, and my second year of college, a bill came in the mail for full tuition, and my parents and I had a major meltdown because there was no way we were going to be able to afford it. I didn't know that I had to file for aid each year. And so I want to make sure that you're remembering it feels like you've just finished it and then you get to start all over again and do that FAFSA and the Arcadia financial aid application. If you happen to be a student or a family whose FAFSA was selected for federal verification, it'll mean that we do need to collect some additional documentation from you, including a verification worksheet, which is available to download and complete from our website. You'll need to log in and use the IRS data retrieval tool if you didn't do it when you filed your FAFSA, or if you're unable to do that data retrieval, you're going to submit a signed copy of your 2018 federal income tax return. For our student non-filers or parent non-filers, we have some links to forms on our website as well, a non-tax filer form, and parents, if you were selected for verification and did not file taxes during the tax year 2018, you'll have to submit something called a verification of non-filing statement from the IRS. And then finally, for those students who are selected for verification, there is some additional documentation that we might ask you to provide depending on what you have added to your FAFSA. After students apply for aid, the Financial Aid Office is going to prepare the Financial Aid Award Letter, and right now it gets emailed to the student. For those of you who were admitted to Arcadia and started the financial aid application process before the pandemic, you'll remember that you had a red envelope that you received, and when we communicate our financial aid offers to both new and returning students, you can look out for that red envelope in the mail if we are on campus. On the financial aid portal, students can either accept and or decline the aid that they're receiving. So you have an option if you would like to accept your grants and scholarships, but perhaps you don't want to accept your loans, to do all of that right through the financial aid portal. If you'd like to learn more about our financial aid portal, I just want to put out a little plug. Our students can log into their Nightlife on Demand, and there is a video that I recorded that shows you a little bit more information about the financial aid portal and how you can access your information. For our students that will be accepting the federal direct loans, students will have to complete some additional financial aid paperwork. It's really important, and I want to highlight that the student is the one who needs to be completing these forms. parents and friends and family members who are with us tonight, it's great for you to sit alongside your student and help them, but these loans are going to be in their name. So they're going to need their information at studentaid.gov, their FSA ID, to get this paperwork completed. So you'll start at the undergraduate staffer loan request form that's available on the Arcadia website, and then go to studentaid.gov, use that FSA ID, the same one you used when you filed your FAFSA, to complete the Federal Direct Master Promissory Note and entrance counseling. Then you can start to think about steps to cover the out-of-pocket cost. Dennis is going to talk a little bit more about our billing process and billing cycle, and you might already have had a preview to know that we are right in between the stages of getting our bills ready for the fall. So some charges are posted to accounts, but not all, and we will be applying anticipated financial aid for those students who have applied already. But right now, it happens to be that this presentation hits us right smack in the middle of kind of doing all of that work. If you are unsure about what you're going to do with your remaining balance, I highlighted the website arcadia.edu/financing options on purpose. It's a great resource for you to go to get more information about really 3 different avenues that you might have. Students can use private alternative loans, a loan in the student name with a creditworthy cosigner. And there's a link on our financing options website to a comparison tool through Elm Select. It can help you figure out what loan product might work best for you if that's a route you're going to take. Parents, you also have the option to use a loan in your name for any dependent students that are enrolling. You complete an application using your FSA ID this time, the same one that you used if you signed to the FAFSA, to complete an application at studentaid.gov. If you're approved on the loan and you'd like to use it, you'll do some additional application steps by completing a master promissory note. But if you're declined due to adverse credit, your student will be able to borrow an additional unsubsidized Stafford loan, $4,000 total for their first year if they're a first-year student. And if they are transferring in any credits and would be considered a junior or a senior, they can get an additional $5,000. And we also have a monthly payment plan that Dennis is going to highlight during his portion of our presentation. Here are some ways that you can communicate with our office. We're able to communicate with both the students and the parents on the FAFSA directly about financial aid and billing. So yes, that means parents, as long as you're on the FAFSA, you don't have to email me and pretend to be your student. I can see your name on the email and I know who you are. So don't pretend to be somebody else. When you email us, we want to hear from the Arcadia email account from the student so we know who they are. And again, that parent email on the FAFSA, please feel free to reach out to us. We're glad to work with you or your student. Parent callers, if you do call into the office, you want to make sure that you're ready to identify yourself. We're going to ask you some simple questions that would be on the FAFSA, maybe your email address or your date of birth, so we know that we're talking to the right person. When campus is open, we do welcome walk-ins. Parents, we want to encourage you to bring your student with you when you visit, and in order to speak with you without your student, you must be the parent or parents on the FAFSA. Those students who have a reason for us to for us to speak to somebody, a non-custodial parent or somebody else in their family who's not on the FAFSA, they can reach out to our office and request something called an information release form that will allow us to speak to that individual. Finally, I just want to highlight really briefly satisfactory academic progress. So in order for students to receive renewed financial aid each academic year, there are requirements that they have to meet that are based on the type of financial aid that they're receiving. So it's a great idea. If you have some time, pull up the record on the portal or your financial aid award letter that you received and take a look at the types of financial aid that you have so you know what type of academic progress you need to make to get that aid renewed for the next year. For Arcadia grants and scholarships, the Distinguished Scholarship, if you have an Achievement Award, an Opportunity Grant, an Arcadia Grant, these are just some examples. Our first year students have to maintain at least a 1.75 cumulative GPA. And then after they've completed 27 academic credits, they're expected to maintain a 2.0 or better. And I'll talk a little bit about just this generally at the end. For federal financial aids, anything that's coming from the federal government, the federal Pell Grant, direct loans, the Parent Plus loan, federal Work Study, students have to maintain both a qualitative and quantitative progress. So the grade point average is the same, 1.75 for a first-year student. And then students also have to successfully complete 70% of their attempted credits during the prior academic year. And finally, for those students that are receiving a PA state grant or a Pennsylvania state grant via the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency, have to successfully complete 24 credits for each 2 semesters of the PA state grant aid. So 24 credits each academic year. I know what you're thinking. 1.75 is a low grade point average, and we're all sure that our students are going to excel. And I will say, generally speaking, most of our Arcadia students do not struggle with that grade point average cutoff. But one of the reasons why we set it where it's at is so that we can set up our students for success. The first semester and year of college can present challenges to our students that they never would have expected academically, and we don't want to put a financial roadblock in front of them. Our goal is to be their partner and a partner with you towards success. So don't look at the GPA requirements as low, look at them as ensuring that very few students will have aid removed or taken away from them if they make a few mistakes their first year or at any time while they're enrolled. So with that, I am going to mute myself and turn it over to Dennis.
All right, thank you, Holly. I just want to take a few minutes to talk to you about the one-stop shop and who we are, what we do. If you saw on the first slide the hours and the information, if not, we'll be able to get that to you. But we are open throughout the academic year from 8:30 until 6, Monday through Thursday, and 8:30 until 5 on Friday. During the summer, we do typically close at 5, although in this kind of remote work environment, we are working later. So our office is located in Taylor Hall. If you've done a tour of the campus or you're familiar with the campus, you'll know where we're at. We're right on the first floor. If you're not familiar with us, we're on the opposite side of the campus from where the castle is. We're behind the library. So we're right on the first floor. I think we're going to get to know you and your students pretty well. We can answer any questions that you might have, whether they're finance related, whether they're something about their residents, something about athletics, something about the general area. We're the place to turn to. Our goal and our plan and what we try to strive to do is to help you navigate those administrative waters, to help you find those answers rather than spending hours on our website. There's a lot of information on the website, and it is great information. But if you don't know what to ask or where to start, it's really difficult. So let us help you with that. Let us start that process for you. Holly, you can go to the next one. Thank you. There are a few things we do specifically within the one-stop shop that we're responsible for, and you can see those on the screen now. So the student employment program, we run out of the one-stop, and that's everything from when the student applies and is looking for a position, all the way through payroll, and even beyond to students that are looking for employer verifications after they graduate. So I'll go into a little more detail on that shortly. Financial questions and concerns. So if you have those financial aid questions, you can certainly go to Holly and her team, or you can come to us if there's something we can help with. We don't during the academic year. This is a little different this fall so far with COVID-19. We don't typically require any type of appointment. You can just walk in and see us. Although at least for the beginning of the fall, we haven't fully worked out how we're going to do it, but I don't believe we're going to be able to do that without an appointment. So more information to come. We'll have that information for everybody. With everything about our all modes for fall semester. In addition, like I said, administrative questions, just anything about the university or the general campus or the general area we'll be able to help with. Located within the one-stop shop, there's a separate office called Night Card Services, and I'm not going to go into any detail there really other than that's going to be the department that the student will be able to go to for any assistance that they might need if they're living on campus and they're trying to get into the residence hall and their night card is not working. There's a swipe on there, a swipe mag stripe that'll get them in and out of their residence halls. If they're a commuter, same thing, but for the commuter lounges or other spaces on campus, we'll be able to help with that access. Meal plan questions regarding usage. If there's an issue, somebody goes to use it and it's declined or they have more than they need, we'll be able to help answer some of those questions and get those resolved. Also maybe guide some students and families to some off-campus discounts where you can show your night card around the local area of Glenside and a little beyond and get some discounts and some great benefits. All right, Holly, next one. So I touched basically on the billing, or I mentioned it earlier. It's not the most exciting thing to talk about, but I do think it's important that everybody's aware. So Holly did touch on this already, that we're in the middle of our billing process for the fall. So if you do happen to go and you've looked already at the student's billing account, there won't be a new fall bill yet, but the information will start showing up on the student record for the tuition right now. The housing fees are not out there yet. The meal plans are not out there yet, and any student financial aid is not there yet. So please, if you've looked at it already, or if you're tempted to do so in the next day or this week, please don't panic. Please don't be concerned. That's all in the process right now. So you're just checking it in the middle of the process. Once the new bill is generated, you'll get an email. And for all of our students that are joining us, the very first bill we provide is a paper bill in addition to an electronic bill. Everything after that is only electronic bills. So if a student wants to see them or have somebody else see those bills, they can grant access to that. So in addition to the brick and mortar one-stop shop that we have in Taylor Hall, we've created a virtual one-stop shop, which houses a lot of financial information that the student and anybody they want to give access to can share and see all this information together. So for the student, they're going to log into this using their My Arcadia account, which is where the email is and student classes information, their class information is, and athletic events and anything else going on campus is all in that same place. So the student's going to log into there and they're going to be able to see their bill, any activity that's occurred since the last billing statement. It's a location to make a payment, to set up a payment plan. And for any of the parents and families on the call, this is going to be a very important place for you as well, because it's going to allow the student to grant you access to this account. Now, this account is in their name. It is their account, but we know most students are probably counting on you to pay for it or some portion of it. So they're going to be able to give you access to this information. Now, this access isn't just limited to you. It can be anybody the student wants to give it to. So if they have a grandparent or an aunt or uncle or somebody else that is maybe making a tuition payment for them, they'll be able to grant them that access. In addition, maybe the student's lucky enough to have some type of employer reimbursement, so they can grant the employer access to make that payment right through this online gateway if they choose to do so. This is probably most important for that last category for any type of employer. The access can be turned on or off at will. So it can be on just for a minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes and turned right back off. So it's not ongoing. For most parents, the student leaves it on indefinitely and then sets it up so then they get a notification that there's a new bill available as well. So as I mentioned, the first bills are going to be coming out in the next week or two. Hopefully, they'll be in your mailbox by then, depending on the postal service and the mail getting there. If not, you'll get an email as well, or the student will, and if they give you access, we'll get an email to the email address you've created or set up through there to let you know there's a new bill available. If you have any trouble with it, if the student has any trouble giving you access, please do not hesitate to let us know as soon as you can, and we'll help get that set up for you. It's a really simple process. And it would only take a few minutes, but we do need to talk to the student to do it. So please have them contact us if you're the parent. Typically, the payments are monthly between the 10th and 12th of each month for any existing balances on the account. So those you can expect to keep continually coming. If there's any new bills or any balance or anything new, if nothing changes on the account and you have a zero balance, you won't keep getting new bills. What you will get is a reminder each time a new bill comes out about 5 days later that says you haven't opened it yet, and it'll start to nag you. So just make sure you open the bill, at least take a look at it, and it'll stop that nag for you. Holly, next, please. Within this virtual one-stop shop, there's also access to our monthly payment plan. The university offers 2 different payment plan options for our undergraduate students. The first is a semester by semester plan, so obviously fall only or spring only. The other one is for the entire academic year, so fall and spring combined. The payment plan is, it does include a $50 enrollment fee, so I do encourage you, if you're thinking about doing the payment plan, to do it for the entire year. If you do a fall only plan and then decide you want one for the spring as well, there's a second $50 enrollment fee. So if you do the whole year at one time, and the whole year should include the expenses from fall and spring. If you have any questions on how to calculate that, again, let us know. We'll be able to help you with that. But then it'll keep you to only one $50 enrollment fee and not having 2 of them charged to you. The beauty of the plan is it is interest-free. So the amount you put in the plan is the amount that you're going to pay. There's, like I said, no interest on it. So it can help save some families a little bit of money if possible. The payment plan, if you're doing the semester by semester, is a 5-month plan. Although the fall semester payment plan registration ends today. It's not a problem if you sign up tomorrow or within the month. It becomes a 4-month plan if you're doing just for the fall. If you're doing it for the whole year, it becomes a 9-month plan rather than the normal 10. If you want to do a 10-month plan, contact us. We can explain to you how to do it. It'll still be a 9-month plan, but how to divide it into 10 payments. So we can make that happen for you. We don't chisel any of this into stone. It's all flexible. We want to work with you. So please let us know if something in your financial aid changes or something in your family's finances change. We're going to work with you to adjust that payment plan. We know there is a lot in motion right now, a lot of things that are changing financially for the student's account. So please let us know. We'll work with you to get that changed. Also, the payments are due on the 1st of the month, and you can set up direct debit if you'd like for this. So you don't have to worry about remembering each month. I mean, there will be a reminder email, but you don't have to remember to send it each month. You can do an automatic debit from a checking or savings account if you'd like. You can always pay the payment online, or you can mail it in if you'd like to do that. Right now, we're not sure about how we're going to be accepting payments in person, but if you mail it in, that's also an easy way to do it. We do accept, if you're paying online, whether it's a payment plan or any payment, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express. I just do want to caution you that if you do use a credit card, there's a 2.75% convenience fee passed on by our processing company on top of whatever amount you pay. So if you're paying with one of those credit cards, there will be a notification, but it'll be a 2.75% convenience fee on top of that. If you use a checking or savings account, a direct deposit from there, or a direct debit from there, there's no convenience fee. So if you're thinking, well, I'll just send in a check to avoid the convenience fee, you can do an electronic check just the same way. And it'll actually be a little bit cheaper because you won't have to pay for postage or try and get it to the post office. So that's another option. Again, credit cards do have a convenience fee, but the checking and savings accounts do not. If you have a debit card or a check card tied to your checking account and you use the actual plastic card information, that will run through like a credit card. So even though it's tied to your bank account, it's still going to accrue that 2.75% interest on the payment. So please use your checking account or savings account if possible, and the number is right on the check or the savings account. Holly, next one, please. For some students, they're going to have a credit on their account, and that could be for a number of reasons. Maybe they have more financial aid than the cost of attending Arcadia, which is fantastic. Sometimes families borrow more than they need for that. So those funds can be used for living expenses during the semester, maybe books or other items that the student might need during the semester. So what we can do is we can put that money on the account. It'll sit there as a credit. The only exception to this is if there's a plus loan involved. So if the parent borrowed a plus loan, that refund will go to the parent unless you let us know otherwise. But for all of the situations, the credit is going to sit on the student account if you're a full-time undergraduate student, unless you let us know you want that refunded to you. So students in good standing that have a credit on their account can use their student account to charge things on campus. So some universities, if you have a sibling that went to another school, or if you're a parent and you have a child that did, you may be able to put money onto the card and charge it. We do it slightly different, where it would just go directly onto the student account. So you wouldn't need to request a refund and then put it onto a card. You can simply just charge against it. And when you look at those statements online, or if you're the parent and you go in and look at it as well, you'll see all those charges right on the student bill, and it will debit against that credit that's on the account and reduce it. Now, if you're using these funds for something that's not on campus, we can refund that to you. There is a request form if you are a full-time undergrad. So the request form is right online through My Arcadia, where, like I said, is going to be your gateway for most things on campus, at least electronically. So right on there, if you go to the one-stop section, you'll see this request form. That will go to our business office, and they'll be able to get that refund processed for you. All refund requests to be available for Monday need to be in by noon on Tuesday the following week, or the previous week, excuse me, to have it the following week. So please keep that in mind. And if you haven't yet, you will be receiving a green envelope from a company called, or a bank called Bank Mobile. They're our partner in getting these refunds to our students. So If you did receive it already, and I will admit it does usually kind of look like junk mail, so a lot of families do throw it out if they didn't hear from us first. If that's the case, don't worry, we can get you the information again. But this is going to be where the student can go in and select how they want to have any refunds from the university sent to them. It gives them the opportunity to have things direct deposited rather than just getting a paper check. The direct deposit is going to be processed faster, but it's also going to get to the student faster. In particular, if the student is not from the local area right around here in Philadelphia, or if they're studying abroad, this money is going to get to them much quicker. Without that, the check is sent to the home address. You as the parent, if you're the parent, will have to cash it and then or mail it to the student wherever they're at. It takes much longer. We know if students are requesting these refunds, they probably do need it pretty quickly. So we are going to get that to you direct deposit through any bank you want. It does not have to be Bank Mobile. They're just processing it for us. You'll see accounts on there to sign up for with Bank Mobile if you choose to do so. You do not have to. It's completely up to you if you want to. Any account you put in there, they will refund the money to it. So whether that's PNC, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you name it, they'll be able to refund it to there. So please just make sure you go in, make a selection. Some students may not be anticipating a refund, but things happen, then all of a sudden they are getting a refund and they need that money quick, but they haven't actually set up their refund preference, so it slows down the process. So just to be proactive, I'd encourage everybody to go in, make that selection. It would take less than 5 minutes, and then you'll be able to get those funds as quickly as possible. Next one, Holly. And finally, I just want to talk about the campus work study program. So if this is specific for those families who, if they've received their award letter already, saw a work study as part of their award. If you didn't receive work study as part of your award, don't worry, we may still be able to help you out with it. But in particular, those that did see work study on their award. This works differently than every other piece of aid that you're seeing on that award letter. So this is not something that's going to be deducted directly from the tuition bill, like a grant or a scholarship or a loan might be. This is money that would be earned in paychecks. So if you're working out payment arrangements for a payment plan or an alternative loan or a plus loan or just sending in a payment, whatever it might be, please don't include that amount because it's not going to come directly off the bill. We don't guarantee any jobs on campus, but we do our best to get those students employed as quickly as possible. This fall is going to be an interesting time for us. We're still working through a lot of the positions on campus. We typically, throughout the year, have about 900 to 1,000 students working on campus at any given time. So right now, we know many of these positions are not going to be available in the fall, at least immediately, while we adhere to social distancing and trying to maintain everybody's health and safety. Some of the jobs we can provide remotely, so the student can still do them. There's not a lot of those, but there are some. And then some other positions will be able to happen on campus, but it will be in a location that is more secure health-wise, so there's not a number of students all together or faculty and staff all together, just to make sure we're adhering to the social distancing. If you are interested in this program and you have, or you're even somewhat interested, we have sent in a postcard or we'll be sending more. We also would recommend signing up and completing the application as soon as it goes live for you. We will be sending an email to everybody that has been awarded campus work study to let them know that the application is live. The link will be there and the information will be in the email. It's going to direct you to My Arcadia again, and you'll just complete some simple questions for us if you know what your schedule is already. Any skills you might have, for example, if you're a lifeguard, or if there's a particular department or division or something you're really looking and wanting to do, if you have a particular major, it's going to help try and get us matching you with the position as best as possible. Typically, our returning students after their first year either return to the same position or they've found throughout the year what they really want to do or what position they want to be in or what works best for them. So we don't place too many students after their first year, but we do offer that the first year. If there is a particular department you as the student are interested in working in, again, please let us know. We can connect you with that department already, and you can talk to them and see if a position will be open that you might want to explore. So we're not necessarily placing you into that position, but they're recruiting you, requesting you. As you can see, most of the students are working about 6 to 8 hours a week on campus, typically. Again, I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like for the fall yet. We've got a pretty good idea, but we're working through all the details. And things do change rather quickly, as we are all aware in these days anymore. with our government guidance and regulations. So things do happen quickly. So please keep looking at your email, keep on top of that, and we'll be sending this information out. Again, 6 to 8 hours is normal. We found that to be the sweet spot for students to be involved, be engaged with their work, but not take them away from being a student and their time on campus. So these positions focus on the student being a student first, and then their work and whatever else they're doing comes after that. We want them to be students. We know that that's their focus. They're going to have many, many years to work after. So don't focus on that now. The beauty of it is some students do acclimate to the campus quicker when they have one of these positions, especially for the more introverted students. It's getting them out there a little faster. It's also a great resume builder. So it gets students started building that resume, making those connections. For some students, and I can say for at least 3 within my department, the one-stop shop, those students or those employees working in the one-stop shop were student employees. And they found what they really loved doing and made their way into that. So again, it's also a paycheck. So the students are going to be earning payment for the hours that they work, and it's going to be direct deposit if they want, or a paper check, whichever you choose. It's not the same process as the Bank Mobile one I mentioned earlier, but it will give students that opportunity to work on campus, earn a paycheck, and that money's for them to spend the way they want. So they can choose what they want to do with that. Hopefully, as a parent, that's a little less that you're having to send them every week or 2 weeks or month or whatever it might be. But it's giving them that opportunity, that responsibility. The hours on campus really do range anything from very early in the morning all the way through into the evenings, into the night, depending on the position. So any questions with the program, please, or anything I've spoken about, please do not hesitate to contact us. We are not in the office at the moment, but we are all working remotely. So we are able to Zoom with you. We're able to talk to you over the phone, email, we correspond with all the time. Whatever works best for you, we're going to make it work best for us. So whatever we can do, please let us know. We'd be happy to help. As I mentioned earlier, and you saw earlier, the email is just onestop@arcadia.edu. That's going to be the quickest and easiest way to reach us. And we're going to respond to you that day. So we're going to get back to you really quickly and get worked out whatever we can. Or if we can't actually answer the question, we're going to get you directly into the hands of the person that can. So please take advantage of our resources, anything we can do for you. We're going to be more than happy to do. So thank you. That's it for me. Welcome to Arcadia. And I think we got plenty of time to take any questions that might have come in.
I do have some. Okay, I'm pretty sure you mentioned this earlier, but there are some balances for students that are currently on bills, correct? But that doesn't mean that that can be their actual bill for the semester?
That's correct. So the actual bill hasn't been run. So a bill is just a snapshot in time, a picture in time of when that occurred. So if you look at if you go into the self-service area, the e-bill, e-pay, you shouldn't see a bill yet, but you will see activity. So that activity is likely only going to show tuition and fees right now. It's not going to show housing. So if you're planning on living in campus housing and you've gotten all that correspondence, you don't see it there, don't panic. Doesn't mean there's not a place for you. Doesn't mean we don't know. Same thing for meal plans. Once all that's updated and the aid goes on, we will send a bill to everybody to say, here it is. It's as accurate as we can get it right now. And if any aid comes in after that, if you get an outside scholarship, let us know. We'll add that to it. But right now, please, yes, it's in the middle of the process. So what you see is not what it's going to be.
Okay. When do you have to register for a payment plan by? Is there a certain date?
Yeah, it depends on the length of the payment plan. So if you did register tonight, which I realize is very late, and you're doing the whole year, as I'd encourage you, it would be a 10-month plan. If you register within this month of July, it would become a 9-month plan. And if you register anytime between now or anytime between the end of July and the end of August, so that last day of August, it would be an 8-month plan. So basically, we're just taking whatever amount you want to put into there. I should have stressed that. You choose the amount you want to put into that payment plan. It's not something and we can guide you on that. But you don't have to put the whole balance in there. You can put as much or as little into that payment plan as you want. Some families look at it and realize, you know what, I owe $10,000. So I'm going to put the whole $10,000 into the payment plan, and it's $1,000 a month. Some families work the other direction and say, you know what, I can afford $100 a month. So they put $1,000 into the payment plan, and it's $100 a month. So it really is customizable for what works best for you. Um, no two accounts are identical or the same. So we do work with you on trying to put that puzzle together. But if you are going to do either the fall plan or the whole 10-month or the whole fall and spring plan, the very last day to enroll in it would be August 31st.
Perfect. And then how do they actually choose that plan? Do they call your office? Do they go on the website?
Good question. The payment plan would be selected through the e-bill and e-pay, which is part of the My Arcadia section that the student will log into. So once the student logs in, as the student, you'll be able to see the payment plan options there for you. If you're the parent asking the question, as long as the student has given you that access, you can log in. So the student's going to log in through My Arcadia. If they give you that access, which I imagine they will, you'll get an email to whatever email account they put in and a temporary password that's going to allow you to log into the e-bill and e-pay site. And once you create that, change that password the first time, you're going to see that exactly the same way the student does. Now, like I said, the student's going in through My Arcadia, so there's a lot of other sensitive and confidential information in there. You're going to go in through a different doorway, so to speak. But the information that you see and the information that the student sees is identical, with one caveat. The only catch to that is if you save a preferred payment method. So if you always use the same checking account, you can save that and not have to enter it each and every time, but the student won't see that checking account. And if you're the student and you use the same checking account all the time as well, your parent won't see that checking account. So once you log into that e-bill and e-pay site, one of the options in there is the monthly payment plan, and you can set it all up right through there. There's a bit of a tutorial to help you get through it. It's really simple, but the most complicated part usually is just figuring out the aid and the other options that come along and what the actual balance is going to be. So if you do have those questions, we'll be able to walk through it with you and give you the guidance, and then you can decide what's the best amount in there for you.
Awesome. Okay, this question's from a student. I'm not sure if it's specifically tailored to financial aid packages or billing questions, but they're asking, how do they grant parents access to information?
So it's going to really depend on what type of information you're looking to grant your parents access to. Generally speaking, questions about the financial aid package, what a student might owe, as long as that parent's listed on the FAFSA, there's no additional permission that needs to be granted. Outside of the world of financial aid, you'll learn over the next couple of weeks what you would need to do from an academic standpoint, which is completely different. And then what Dennis just explained, through your e-bill and e-pay site as a student, you can enable somebody to be an authorized payer, and that's how they get access to see the actual bill itself. So that's one of those ways, depending on what information that parent wants, is how they can get access.
And if you contact either of our offices, we're more than happy to help you with anything financial, but neither of our offices will talk about academics in any way whatsoever. That is a whole separate world and a whole separate set of privacy laws. So we won't even get into academics at all.
Gotcha. Can you work on campus without work study as a part of your package?
That's a good question. Yes, there's a couple parts to that. So it is possible. I would first encourage you to see if we can add the work study to your package. That would be my first suggestion. If not, there are some options. We don't place students into positions that don't have work study. Now, that doesn't mean you can't find your own position on campus, or we can't guide you to somebody that can hire you. If a department says we want to hire this student, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that that student can work for that department or that supervisor or that team or whomever it might be. But we won't actually place you into that position. Now, there are some other jobs on campus with some of our vendors that they do hire as well. So our dining services hire some students. That doesn't go through us. That's between the student and the dining services contractor, which is METS. And our bookstore does as well. So they do hire some students for different things, but you're an employee of those vendors. If you're doing one of the other positions, you are, like I said, working under the work study program. And if you don't, again, if it sounds as if maybe you're asking because you don't have work study as part of your award, please reach out to us. We'll be able to take a look and see what we can do. Like I said, there's a lot in flux right now because of the COVID-19 situation, and return to campus and making sure we have the right physical distancing.
Perfect. And then another work study question is, where would I find the work study application if it is a part of my financial aid package, and when do I need to fill it out?
The application, will be sending an email to everyone that has been awarded campus work study to complete that application. I envision that will probably be closer to the end of this month. We haven't set an actual date yet, but I do believe it's going to be close to the end of this month. Still within July, but close to the end of the month. Within that email is going to be a link. It'll give you directions on how to get to it. It's going to be through My Arcadia and the one-stop shop section of there. So that will be coming. That information will be coming. The sooner you fill it out, the better if you're interested in working right away and getting that information to us. And we'll be working on that and getting as many student positions filled as quickly as possible. If you want to not work the first semester, just because you don't get a job in fall, or you can't work in the fall, or don't want to work in the fall, but then you decide you want to in the spring, it doesn't mean you can't work in the spring. So you can always wait until spring if you want to do that. That's a possibility as well.
Awesome. So those are the only questions that I have. Holly and Dennis, I'm not sure if you have any closing remarks, but I definitely have some closing remarks when we're ready to close us out here.
Go ahead, Holly.
Dennis, and then you go first.
Okay. I just want to take the opportunity to thank everybody for attending. I really appreciate it. I know it's busy times in everybody's life and trying to figure out what you're doing and when you're doing it. And we are here to help. Please take advantage of everything we can offer for you. That's one of the benefits of the personal attention and the smaller school that we provide. We are here to help you. So please take advantage of that. Let us help in any way we can. I want to welcome you. I really hope to see you in the fall, and not just over these Zoom and virtual things. Hopefully we can get together sometime soon in person. So thank you.
And I just really wanted to echo Dennis's thanks. It's really great to have you joining us this evening and coming, we really welcome you as part of the Arcadia family. You'll be able to rewatch this video. Will be posted. Friends and family will get an invitation at some point in the next couple of weeks. So don't scramble to look for it now, but to an online platform called Canvas, where you'll see this recorded. And then Dennis and I, along with other campus resources, are going to have other videos and resources recorded out there for you to take a look at. So please reach out to us if you do have questions. I know that the job market is ever changing, and what you think you might be able to afford or take on can change at the drop of a hat. And so please make sure that instead of panicking, that you reach out to us and let's talk through, what is worrying you, so we're sure that we have exhausted all of the resources possible. But I want to wish everybody a great evening and well over the next couple of weeks. And I really cannot wait until we're all together on campus sometime soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Holly and Dennis. I'm sure that all of our folks really appreciated all the information that you provided with us. These closing announcements are specifically for some students, but if you are a family or friend, you can make sure your student is aware of these things. So these live sessions are a part of our overall summer orientation experience that is running virtually. So we'll be having these live sessions every Wednesday throughout the month of July. And we also have access for students to go onto our nightlife orientation portal. So today is the day that the portal went live. You should have gotten an email sent to your Arcadia email address from orientation@arcadia.edu that gave you instructions on how to access this portal. When you get onto the portal, you'll see two different sections. You'll see nightlife orientation that will give you information about all these other live sessions. It'll give you a list of our orientation leaders, their majors, their years, their hometowns, and their email addresses if you want to talk with them specifically, as well as next steps for what you should be looking for before you come to Arcadia in the fall, whether that be in person or virtually. On the other end of our portal is the Nightlife on Demand. So Holly was mentioning that a little bit. Essentially, each office has their own page within this portal that has videos, documents, website links, contact information, really a one-stop shop for everything pertaining to each office. So when you go to that, students, you can actually earn some nightlife armor. So every time you go to a page, you learn about the office. At the top right-hand corner, there's going to be an Apply for Earn button. you're going to click on that and you're going to fill out the little questionnaire about what you learned on that page. As you earn your armor, you will be entered into a drawing to win a $500 gift card to the bookstore. We know books are expensive. That's really exciting. So you want to make sure as you're going through the offices on the portal that you are filling out that form. And lucky for you all, for everyone that attended a session tonight, you'll get an extra entry. So I'm going to drop a link in the chat that's going to bring you to our live sessions page. And you'll hit that same apply to earn button in the top right corner. And you'll just put in that you went to the session tonight and it was for the financial aid and one-stop shop. You need to complete your armor by July 31st. Once July 31st hits, that's when we will close our drawing for the raffle. And then just keep your eyes peeled for emails from orientation about nightlife instructions, about your course selection and advising days, and really anything to get you prepared for the upcoming year. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to email us at orientation@arcadia.edu. We're a really good resource to get you connected to a whole bunch of folks on campus if you're not sure who to contact. And then we still have the contact information on the screen for financial aid and the one-stop shop. But I want to thank you all so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us this evening. I hope you have a safe and great rest of your day. And I will drop that link for the nightlife armor in the chat right after I end the recording. So thank you.